going to go through an overview of the Camtasia 2018 interface. For those of you that are new to Camtasia or upgrading from a previous version, I'm going to go through the basics and kind of walk you through the entire thing. All right, so to start out, we open up Camtasia. And as you know, Camtasia is a video editor. It's used to either edit videos that you already have or capture something you're doing on your computer as you're doing it. So you can see on the top, we have our main menu where we can create a new project or save our project or anything like that. And then on the left-hand side, we have our options, really our media options. And then we have our library. And I'm going to go through what's available in each of them, and I'm going to show you kind of what Camtasia looks like. So on the main screen here is our working interface. This is where we can see everything we're doing. And then at the bottom here, we have our timeline where we actually have our video and everything that we're actually going to work with. So in the top, we have our media. Our media is really like if I wanted to import an image, like a different background, it would be placed right here in my media. We have our library. This is where Camtasia gives you all kinds of different things. And you can see various kinds of options that they have in the library. I can also upload things to the library. So like if I keep using a background over and over again, I can upload it to my library so that it's always there. Now you can see Camtasia comes with a bunch of different things like various icons for buildings that you can use. Various intros. Intros are like, you know, when you open up a YouTube video and there's like a 5-second intro, they have these created for you. They have something called lower thirds. For those of you that aren't familiar with what a lower third is, I'll just place it right on the screen here so that you can see. A lower third is where you're introducing someone, you see their name pop up on the screen. Motion backgrounds are simply a background, like if you were to take yourself out, it would be moving in the background. I could put one of those on the screen as well so you can kind of see what it's going to do. This one's a zoom in of a classroom, zoom in and out. They offer various music tracks. They don't have a lot, but the cool thing about these music tracks is that you're free to use them to add a little sound to your video. And then they have some outros, which are simply like end credits of a movie, and I can add those as well. You can see the way that Camtasia functions. It's like a movie. It's in order. You can see by seconds how long something is going for. So you can place things on the screen. In this video, I'm not trying to create a tutorial of how to use Camtasia. This is an overview of all the stuff it does. All right, so that's our library. We have our annotations, which are basically like little sayings that we can put up on the screen, like thinking. There's a few here. You can take a look, go through all of them. I'm not going to do that, but there's like arrows and shapes, various things that you can create on the screen. You know, you can see a sketch motion and some things like that, different keyboard callouts. We have transitions where you can go from, you know, from one to next, like almost like in PowerPoint, how you have an animation, you scroll over it and you can see what it actually is going to do. We have behaviors where something can fly in, pop in, fade in. We have various animations, and you can see when I click on it, it shows exactly what it's going to do. We have interactivity where you can actually add a quiz to Camtasia. I really like this feature. It starts to give video more of an e-learning component, but it is kind of tricky. I personally, if I'm developing computer-based training, I'm going to use a different piece of software and put my Camtasia video into that. But I do like that they're starting to really, you know, create this e-learning interactivity into it. And then we have some more different types of media options. We have cursor effects where you can, you know, have a spotlight cursor or something like that. Audio effects where we can have like, you know, a fade in, fade out, remove a noise if you're not using a pop filter or anything like that. We have visual effects, which, you know, we can remove a color. Like if you have a green screen, you can get rid of the background and use a green screen. We have a device frame. We can colorize it, so we can do a little bit of color adjustment and colorize to change it a little bit. Like if the lighting was a little too low, you could spruce up the human colors and stuff like that. And finally, we have closed captions, which we can add, where you can actually add your captions if you would like to. Okay, so now on the top of the screen, we have our cursor where we can select things, movement where we can move things around, and we have a crop tool. And you can see we have what we're seeing right now. On the right-hand side are our options for things. So like, You know, I have this classroom zoom. The properties, which I can click that on and off, are change the scale of it, change the opacity, and everything you import has its own. Like if I'll just pick something, I'll take a motion background and, you know, add that to my timeline. And now if I click that, you can see that it has its own different properties. So everything that you import to the timeline, you get properties for it by clicking on it. You know, if I click this was my lower thirds, I can actually type in, hide that, what I want it to say. And you can see it's now saying example. So, you know, there are a lot of different cool things you can do. I can edit this timeline quite a bit. Like I can select something, press this little, you know, split button and cut it, move things around as I need to. I can delete things as well. And that's really, you know, the basics of the interface. You know, I can share my video, like publish it. I can publish it right to YouTube or select how I want to publish it. I can export a frame. So if I, you know, was doing a video of myself and I liked the picture, I wanted to use that for something, I could cut just that frame and make it a JPEG. If I want to make a podcast, I can export just the audio only. So when I'm ready to record something, I can press the record button. And you can see that the record button pops up on the screen. You can select your camera output. You can select your audio input. You can select if you want to do full screen or custom. And then you press the record button and it starts recording. And that's really it. That's the interface of Camtasia. It's a really simple software. You can do a lot of really neat stuff with it, but the actual interface of it is pretty simple. In my next videos, I'm going to show you how to do some different things with it. Thank you.